Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I just want to jump onto a little round that I do. Is like a quick fire round. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna throw out a few words, or sorry, a few questions. Just give your
Sure.
first answer that comes to your brain. Okay.
Sure.
All right. Murabbaha versus musharaka.
Murabaha for me is way easier of a transaction to deal with.
Favorite place to sell real estate.
What do you mean by fair place?
Fa- the favorite, like, where do you think you enjoy the most, and like, where do you think is the best to sell?
like it's got to be the suburbs around Toronto, man.
Yeah.
It's easy money, right?
Best place to buy real estate as an investor.
Outside of the core. So a lot of these properties still haven't appreciated to their full potential yet. So and plus, like the rental rates are much higher in terms of return on investment.
Okay. All right. All right. Blue Jays, Leafs, or Raptors.
Raptors,
Raptors.
hands down.
All right. All right. What is your favorite stock? Don't say MC.
Wow,
Don't say MC.
that's there's well, I mean, there's a few that I can throw in there, but I mean,
Go for it.
my largest holding is probably Tesla. So
Tesla.
let's just say it's Tesla.
My brother would be so happy. He works for Tesla. Your favorite crypto? We'll do three. Okay, we'll do three. I think that's fair.
So in terms of favorite crypto, some of my favorite projects are obviously Ethereum,
Mm-hmm.
Cardano, and if I were to throw in a third one, it would probably be between Polkadot and VeChain.
Okay, yeah, I would agree to that. I would personally put also Ripple in there somewhere. Just kind of. I know, I know, I know
Uh,
that, I know you have issues with that, but with me, it's because I was loyal to Ripple since it was like long time ago, like the last bull run, or no, the bull run, like long time ago. I think I was in grade.
the idea behind crypto is to be like decentralized, right? Like Ripple is centralized. It's controlled by Ripple. So I mean, anytime they want to, they can just pull away your coins for the hell of it,
And I
right? I
agree
mean,
with you. I agree with you. I'm in it for the short term, to be really honest, because I don't think the world's gonna allow a decentralized full system really quickly. I think I'm gonna wait till that peak hits, as to where the governments and everybody starts becoming more accepting of DeFi, and then I'm be like, all right, yo, Ripple, I'm done.
but the funny thing is, and you just mentioned it right now, like when you talk about the long term, like what do you think is going to be the largest like cryptocurrency that has worldwide adoption, say 10 years from now?
Hmm.
And I would have to say it's a digital dollar. I
Yeah,
mean, kind of the way that the US dollar is going to be none of these projects.
I
I mean,
hope
sure,
not,
they'll benefit in terms of like their price appreciation,
man. I hope
but
not.
with a dollar that's losing money on a daily basis due to inflation,
Yeah,
it just makes sense to kind of take everything to the blockchain,
yeah,
and it's going to be a digital dollar, a digital yuan,
yeah,
like from China, right?
yeah. Better trading investment, stocks or crypto.
Uh, for I mean, this is such a hard question, but honestly, I would rather trade. I would rather trade stocks than crypto.
Okay, and you know what? I've gotten this as of right now from a lot of other brothers also, that they rather do stocks right now, and maybe in a few years then start focusing on, because there's a lot of issues right now with the crypto market. Because I'm in there. I'm like deeply in there. There's a lot of issues.
Honestly, with regards to crypto, I mean, this is your chance to be rich beyond your dreams
So
down the
invest.
line.
So
This
invest.
is how like kind of 2008 went when the entire market fell down.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of keep that in mind. Like you have to have like 2020 vision, like looking forward, and like this is a great time. Like most of my crypto portfolio, if I take a look at my like individual holdings, they're down by like 40-50%, right? Overall, I'm down 27% just because Bitcoin and Ethereum are kind of holding it up. It's all the alts that are getting destroyed, right?
Yeah.
I think Polkadot, I'm down by like 47%. The Graph, I'm down by 60%.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, you know, opportunities to average down, especially because I don't have like a large percentage of my money in crypto to begin with. Like I think if I take a look at my investments in general, that crypto is probably less than 5% of my overall holdings, right?
Wow,
So there's a lot of like, the ability to be able to kind of hedge your risk to something you're comfortable with, so that if you lose it all, you're not going to be upset. And I think I'm okay risking 5% of my portfolio.
I was just gonna come here and this second question is a little tricky and it might be hard for people to understand. How confident are you still in those investments, crypto?
Of course. I'm diamond hands, right? I mean, the whole thing is like, if I see an opportunity to move it between like, other currencies, like I literally about 2 weeks ago moved all my Ethereum over to Bitcoin. Because I took a look at like the chart for Ethereum and it looked way more bearish versus Bitcoin, right? So they're both down either way. So I just threw the money over to Bitcoin, waiting for Bitcoin to run a bit until Ethereum is ready to run, then move back that portion back into Ethereum and run with Ethereum again, right? Because that's kind of like how the money cycle works in crypto. First Bitcoin goes, then Ethereum, then you get your alts, and it's all good, right?
Exactly. I'm kind of stuck because I'm staking, so can't move things. It takes way too long to get, like when you unstake, every token has its own unstaking period and staking periods and cycles, so this is something else for other people who are interested in staking out. So the next question is, better passive income, staking or real estate?
Real estate, for sure.
Okay.
Like, I mean, staking is still very early. I mean, like, a lot of people's portfolios haven't matured to the point yet where they would be making a lot of money off of staking, like unless you got into crypto like really early and you have like hundreds of thousands of dollars in cryptocurrency, then I could see a case for like, making like 7 or 8% rewards off of like Cardano or something, right? So otherwise, like real estate, you're going to get equity appreciation and you're going to be getting a return on your investment with regards to like say renting it out, and that should be paying for itself, right? So it's literally an asset that you won't have to touch in terms of putting money into it, right? It's just growing after your initial investment.
Amazing. Yeah. Okay. I may have a minor disagreement, but I could still agree to the point. Maybe not in essence real estate here in Canada, because you get 6% here if you got a good passive income from
average. I mean, this is the average. I mean, certain markets, when you take a look at it, can appreciate quicker, but you're not going to get access to that equity until you sell, right? I mean, a lot of people will tell you the BRRR method, which is like, buying, reselling, or whatever it is.
Renovate.
You can't really do that from a Sharia point of view because you can't pull this equity unless it's with a halal lender, right? And a lot of the times this is like riba-based actions, right? Like you're getting money on top of money, which isn't really the way that it should be run. So a lot of the time this can't be done. You just have to buy and sell, right? And make the money off of like the asset. So in a sense, there are like positives and negatives on both ends, either real estate or crypto, right? Like in terms of crypto, you have the volatility. That's a huge issue, right, for most people. On the real estate side, it's more stable, but there could be issues when it comes to your original asset that will take away from these capital gains that you have. Like, let's say the roof is leaking and you need to replace it, or there's plumbing issues, or there's, there's a multitude of issues that can pop up with a property that isn't something that you would like consider when you're in a crypto, investment. Unless you're in a condo, like where these condos have like fees, and these fees basically cover for all of these shortcomings that you would experience in a freehold property.
Yeah. You guys see how interesting these conversations are. This is why these small questions are supposed to be like, we go on. And I can, what you just said, I can add on and we can have a conversation about just this topic. So that's why at the ending of this, inshallah, I'm going to ask Brother Nader to come back and we're going to have various conversations. So next thing, I'm going to ask you like 2 more quick fun questions, and these ones will be a little more fun. One place you could live in the world and why?
Malaysia. Well, I've never been there, but I mean, it's one of those countries that I'm looking at like once I retire, because, the food is cheap, the real estate is cheap,
Yeah.
and it's a Muslim country, so you wouldn't have to worry about stuff being halal or haram.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's haram everywhere, but I mean, for the most part, being in a Muslim country
Yeah.
and being in a country that has access to, like, you know, nice beaches, you're not too far away from, like, you know, vacation spots. Like, you can fly into, like, you know, various other locations for pretty cheap. You're not too far away either from, say, going to, like, Saudi for, like, Umrah or something. I mean, Saudi would be another, like, thing on the list, but I would rather live in, like, a country like Malaysia or Indonesia and just, like, you know, like, live the beach life.
Don't trigger me about Saudi. I'll have another 3-hour conversation with you about that. But Kat, let's not do. I went to Malaysia, by the way. Totally worth it. The food, they know how to do it. And great architect. I was in Kuala Lumpur. Great architect, man. Like, they designed that city well.
But, you know, like, I would probably choose, like, a region like Penang to probably put my roots down.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm not like, I'm a huge fan of, like, you know, the city life, like, you know, like Toronto. Like, I could live in downtown if I didn't have, like, you know, a family or anything, right? But when it comes to, like, you know, living the easy life, like, I want to have that choice of, you know, the exposure to the sound and to the noise and to the you know, like, the overall bustleness of a city center.
Yeah.
Whereas I could definitely live with, like, you know, the quiet life, the beach life, you know, like, just kind of being away from it, but still getting access to, like, you know, like, amazing places to eat or having amazing like, you know, people in and around the city. So yeah, it's just how I, like, you know, take a look at everything.
Speaking about food, favorite dish?
Man, this is like, you know, choosing which child of yours is your favorite, right? Like, this is like, for me, if I had a go-to dish that I could eat every day and not be sick of it, it would have to be pizza.
Pizza?
Like, I can't. Pizza, and then, like, you have, like, fried chicken right after that. You know, it's like any sort of, like, fried chicken or wings or whatever it is. I'm totally down for that anytime of the day.
You're going to the wrong country for pizza and fried chicken. You want fish? You can go to Malaysia. You want good seafood?
There's solid options when it comes to pizza. We have a large Italian community here in Toronto, and there's a lot of, like, you know, legitimate stone-fired, like, you know, pizzas that you can buy. You know, I'm, like, very simple when it comes to, like, you know, my food. Like, I love a margarita, right? Like,
I knew it.
Is, like, my favorite, right? Like, just, like, that sauce and the basil and the cheese. That's it. That's all I want, right?
Exactly.
And then obviously, like, I'm a huge meat eater. Like, anything grilled, like, whether it's beef or chicken or lamb or
barbecue.
whatever.
Oh yeah.
You can roast it or you can put it in a sous vide and then, like, flame through it. I'm good.
We're in. Call us. Yeah. So if anybody wants to give a dawah to us or wants to call us for dinner, I agree with him. Whatever he said, I want one of those too.
Nice.
Kat, okay. So a little bit back to the topic of real estate and investing. Okay, so a lot of the Middle East market and also, like, Pakistan, India market is like this, where you don't you put yourself in a contract where you pay into buying that real estate over 5 years, 7 years, or X amount. So, like, you'll pay 5% today, then every month you pay an X amount till you pay it off, and at the same time you pay it off is when that building is made. It's like they kind of time it for the perfect timing.
Yeah, I mean, the same thing, like, happens in Egypt. Like, I mean, there are, like, you know, new construction opportunities, and you buy into a contract that's, say, 7 years, and then you make equal payments over that 7 years, and once it's ready, then you're an owner of a property, right? A lot of the time that might not be feasible, though, like, when it comes to, you know, like, I guess, like, in the Middle East, like, the payments will be really high, especially depending on the type of real estate that you buy, right? But I remember, like, 10 years ago, there was an opportunity to buy apartments in the clock tower in Saudi Arabia, right? So this was still being built, and they actually had an amazing deal where, you know, basically the payments would be like, when they're able to, once it's finished and you still haven't gotten, like, the full payments made, they will rent it out to people who are in Saudi who want to go to the Haram and stay in that room. And then those payments, part of it will be put towards the principal payment, right? Nice. And you can keep that going on indefinitely until it's paid off, right? And then you can still choose to, like, have it, like, rented out, and they would share with you like the rental income as well. So it was kind of a cool and unique opportunity when they were building the clock tower in Saudi,
Where
right?
was I? This is an opportunity of a lifetime. I was 14 years old. I was I was too young. I was too young.
Yeah, it was a pretty unique opportunity when I was in Egypt. They had like the builder was there and they were pretty much advertising like own an apartment in the clock tower. You don't want to miss this opportunity. Like they basically had like like all of the sales pitches that you can possibly imagine. And I think one of the condos, which was supposed to be like it looked like similar to a hotel room, which was like a just like a regular studio apartment if you were to compare it to a property. And they were asking at that time for around 230,000 Egyptian pounds. So this was probably closer to like 60 or 70K Canadian at that time
Wow.
for you to be able to own this property, right?
Wow.
And then they had like a 7-year payment plan or a 10-year payment plan or a 20-year payment plan, just so that, like you can put more or less money down depending on your budget. And then you would have it, able to get paid off using like the rental income when it was finished.
Okay, but where I'm going with is that would it be Sharia? Would there be any Sharia issues? Would there be any concept? Because you don't, because there, in essence, it's not something that's made. But I do know there's a time when, in the times of Medina, where you could get a.
You can take a look at what the essence of the contract is. It always comes down to how the contract is structured. And in these cases, this is structured more like a morbaha, right? Okay. So here's the price if you buy today in cash, like no questions asked. But if you want to pay it off over 5 years, then this is the price. And it's marked up by a certain percentage. Mm-hmm. And again, like in the Quran, it says that, the difference between riba and business is very little, but business is halal and riba is haram, right? So again, you're agreeing to mark up something, and then that person is agreeing to buy it in payments, right? Mm-hmm. And in Saudi, like this is how they sell cars, right? So they have a today price and they have a 5-year price. So the profit is implicitly like worked in, not as an interest rate, but as an ability to be able to, space out these payments for someone to be able to afford. They're giving them that opportunity because they're the owner of the asset. So I go and I buy this bottle of perfume for $10. And you want this bottle of perfume, and if you can buy it from me now or $10, I'll give it to you. But if you want to buy it over 5 years, then I'll sell it to you at $15, and you can split it over the 5 years. Right? Yeah. They're both halal transactions, and at the same time, you have to think about the other conditions in the contract that would make it halal, which is what happens if there's a missed payment. What happens if, if anything happens and now you're not able to close on the transaction. So there's all of these fail-safes would make a contract Sharia compliant. And the way that these contracts are structured for the most part are pretty solid when it comes to compliance standpoint.
Got it. Yeah. So the thing was, because there's some great opportunities. So I know about the Pakistani market because it's a growing economy. So I understand like what's available there. And so what they have there is they're making these nice constructions, and they're gonna in essence trying to make Dubai and whatnot. But they're saying that this apartment is, for dumb words, it's $100. You have to pay $100 over the next 7 years. On the 7th year, the building will be made. You can come and take your property. At the 35%, we'll give you the documentation saying that you are in line of this property and whatever, right? In the contract. So my thing was, I understand these contracts for myself personally. I think they're an opportunity because if especially if you have the citizenship and you can get it, and even if you don't have citizenship, you can still get it. There's great opportunity there.
For sure. I mean, it all comes down to opportunity cost. And when it comes to real estate, you have to realize that, there's a finite amount of land that's available in the world, right? So there's no more land that's going to come. So whatever is available in terms of properties is what's available in terms of properties. Now, let's say, for example, here, let's taking a look back here in Canada, or looking back at our own country. Canada, stated a goal of welcoming over 400,000 new immigrants each year, right? Yeah. And the fact is that 50% of these immigrants want to come to Toronto, right?
Yeah.
So Corinthians come to our region as their destination of choice, and they continue to put pressure on demand.
It's gonna be like New York, man. It's gonna be really, it's gonna be wild up here.
The reality, combined with the natural supply constraints of a stretched development and construction pipeline point to continue to pricing pressure, right? I mean, this is what you have to keep in mind. There's only so much land that's out there that's available for development, and there's only so much that, in terms of time and resources, that it would take for them to replenish the supply and add to the pipeline.
Yeah.
So whether you're in a down market or in a high market or whatever it is, long term, you can always bet with real estate. You can always say that real estate is going to be a great investment just because of those reasons I stated, that there's not going to be any more land, except if the fact, Dubai can, manufacture islands on, on demand, right?
Yeah.
Where they made, palm tree islands and decided to make real estate, on those islands, right?
They got money, right? The king came and he said, take the money. I got you guys. Same how Singapore is made. It's the exact same. A rich Chinese family came in and they said, we're making this no land area into the greatest thing that the world's going to see.
The Hong Kong International Airport was also made on a manufactured island, right?
Yeah.
And the problem is, let's say if the rain gets too hard or something like that, then they can't have any flights land on the airport because it's the nature of the island, right?
Yeah. Okay, I don't want to take you any, because I'm already above my promise time with you. And I think I don't want to harass you any longer. But what I'm gonna ask you really quickly is, as a young guy who's upcoming, wants to invest, wants to trade, what can I do to really make money, make that mashallah money through real estate, in Canada and international, however you want to say it, but how can I make money through real estate? But I'm not rich. I have no money.
The first thing you need to do is to buy your own property, right? Mm-hmm. And to do that, you need to have a good foundation with regards to what your needs are going to be. Mm-hmm. So a really good place to start with that, especially when it comes to buying halal, you can take a look at the Menzin real estate fund, right? Yeah. So when it comes to Menzin, they are a halal lender. Obviously, it all depends on how much money is coming in for them to be able to lend, and they have about 4,000 people waiting on their waiting list in order to get access to halal funds. Yeah. But the good thing is that the money that you keep investing into their fund can be used towards your down payment. Yeah. So while you're waiting in line, you can invest towards this fund, and when the number is called out of the line and you're ready to go buy some real estate, you might have additional funds to put down, and you'd be able to find something within the reason of your income or within your budget that would fit, right? Mm-hmm. Especially Menzin is, because they're a private lender, they can apply their loans to pretty much anywhere in Canada, right? Mm-hmm. So it doesn't have to necessarily be the property that you're going to be living in, although this is what they like to give priority to first. But if they're able to suddenly have unlimited funds, then you can pretty much do whatever you want.
That is investment time.
Yeah, they obviously want to maximize their revenue, right? Especially if they have all this money and they just want to keep giving it out. They'll open up, commercial. They'll open it up to real estate investors. As long as they're able to keep their contract Sharia compliant, then it's all good. Yeah. Another thing you can do is find a bunch of like-minded investors like us and pull your money together and throw it at some real estate.
So what are you saying? What do you want to do with my $200? You want to work together?
I think we're able to probably lease out maybe a garage or something in Niagara Falls for a month.
For $200, yeah, that's exactly what's gonna happen. Sorry, I cut you off there. Yeah, keep going.
But yeah, I mean, this is generally what I would look at, or you can try to make an agreement directly with a seller for a property that is distressed, similar to how you would source these wholesale properties. If you're able to come to an agreement with a seller where you can, have a down payment and higher monthly payments in order to, say, purchase the property in 5 years, obviously at a higher price, and this is essentially what a murabaha contract looks like,
Yeah.
then you can go ahead and do that, right?
Mhm.
You're able to negotiate directly a Sharia-compliant contract with a seller. And a lot of people are telling you, well, who the hell will want to do that? You know, there are people who are willing to, like, you know, take a little bit more money over a 5-year term for a guaranteed check. You know, like there are people like, obviously the States has way more opportunity, but it's possible here. I've seen it.
Yeah. And I mean, this is the reason why you need to get yourself Nadar for your real estate needs, because he knows this. And you know, whenever your time comes, if you want to reach out to him. This is me doing my closing remarks, by the way, because I know you gotta go. So if you do want to reach out to him, I will link his contact down in the description, his TikTok also. And yeah, Nadar, any final words from your side?
You know, I think we've pretty much covered a lot of, like, you know, the real estate market, and you know, just you got to be careful out there. Like, they tell us the best time to buy real estate was yesterday. So put a plan in place, and inshallah, especially with everything that we're going through these days, I think within the next 5 years, a lot of, like, you know, the young brothers and sisters can be looking realistically at, like, you know, purchasing properties. I just think that there's way more upside, like, you know, in the stock market or in crypto right now for them to, like, you know, pass up on, as opposed to, like, you know, real estate, right? Especially because we don't deal with a lot of leverage, and we don't deal with a lot of loans. So the best thing to do is to grow your down payment now at like 12 to 20% per year. And once, you know, 5 years comes along, maybe you're in a different position financially, and you'll have a lot more money to work with in order to afford something, you know, wherever it is that you live.
Amazing. So you heard it from the man himself. You wanna give your signature salam together, or what?
Well, I mean, you always gotta do your research, and you know, Allah knows best.
Take
So,
care.
salams!
Take care, everybody. Have an amazing day. Assalamu alaikum.